Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Just going to share this into my group. This is something that I've been doing in my private group that I have felt called to bring out publicly. It's just a morning chat where we talk about mediumship, spiritual gifts, energy. We might do a reading or two. So, this is a place for us to just chit chat and connect, and you can ask your burning questions about all things. And we can laugh and we can share stories and it's just a time to connect. So this isn't dedicated to an hour of full-blown readings. I sometimes will do that. Sometimes, we might do a reading or two today, but I've just really been feeling called to just connect with you guys and to just ask you what questions you have and chat back and forth. And this is a time to just connect. So that's what I've been doing in my private group. And I really felt called today to bring it public. So we're going to give it a try and see how it works public. So I'm just going to share this into my group. There we go. And so when you get on, let me know that you're here. Say hello. Tell me where you're watching from too. I always love to know where you guys are watching from. That way I can make sure I can see my comments because I am doing this from StreamYard so that I can broadcast on YouTube and Facebook. Just so you know. And then we're also going to go live on all the other places. Okay, let's see where I can do this, where I can see everybody and everybody can see me. Oh, there we go. We got comments. Yay. Good morning, Salim. Hi, Tiffany. Says, I absolutely love your hair. Hi from Buffalo, New York. Thank you. I love the purple. It really needs to be washed, to be honest. Rebecca from North Carolina. Fellow North Carolinian. I don't really like calling myself that because I'm not from here, but it's where I am now. How are you guys feeling? We are so close to the main event of energy of this eclipse blood moon. So many cycles within cycles ending. My dream state has been insane. Y'all, my dream state has been insane. I have been doing major purging. I've been working with people. You know what's funny is sometimes I'll get people who used to be clients and they'll message me and they'll be like, "You are working with me in my dream state." And I'll know because I'll remember. And sometimes that happens where like I just have this connection to somebody that I've worked with, who's been a prior client. And those of you who have been private clients of me, today, to this day, you'll still get random PMs from me going, I got a message for you. It just happens. Thank you, Salim. It just happens. I'll get messages or I'll start working with people in their dream state to help them. And it's just, you're always working when you sign up to do spirit stuff. Hi, TikTok. Good morning. I am live on YouTube, TikTok. So you guys want to head over there or you can drop any comments you have below and I'll try to go back and forth. Yes, cycles. Oh, thank you. Honestly, I'm just trying to make dirty hair look good. I only wash my hair once a week and I just haven't got to it yet. That's all. That's all. So what do you guys want to chat about today? This energy, I'm actually feeling really good this morning. Full moons don't generally knock me down. New moons are the ones that are my Achilles heel. But I know a lot of you are probably feeling this intensity highly. I'm sure you guys are feeling this energy. It's big stuff. It's all good. It's happening for us. It's happening for us. Right? Always. Everything is always happening for us. Hi, Lynette. Good morning, friend. Is it live now? Yes, I'm live now. I'm here. It's not a replay. I'm live. And like I was said in the beginning, this is something I've been doing in my private Facebook group is I've been going live in the mornings for like an hour and just letting you guys ask me questions about spiritual development, about energy, about being awake or going through an awakening. We know I got people that are all over the spectrum. Some people are just waking up and they're like, what's happening to me? And others are like, they've been on this journey a while. Like like Lynette's been on this journey for a while. I've known Lynette for a while now. And so we are all over the map. And so it's just fun to connect and have you guys have an opportunity to ask me questions that you might have on your development or energy or healing or any kind of topics, and just chatting about them back and forth. And maybe if we have time and it feels aligned, we'll do a few readings, which is always fun because I don't do traditional medium readings anymore or psychic medium readings anymore. Oh, got my mud water. Fun note, this is a Egyptian prophet stone. This thing is off the charts powerful. If you feel called, see, I've had I'm very called to Egypt. I've had a lot of lives in Egypt. I'm very connected to Osiris and Isis. I just felt called to share this stone. Isn't it beautiful? Very, very powerful. So if you feel like you've had lives in Egypt or connected to the Egyptian energy, this might be a stone you might want to look into. You do kind of bond with it. So literally it's been like my pet rock, which I never call crystals rocks, but this one's a pet rock. And it sits by my bed and I take it everywhere. I don't leave the house with it, but everywhere around the house I go, this stone follows me. It's so weird. I've never done that with a stone, but I felt really, really called to do it. And then my girlfriend, who's a soul sister, had one, and she's like, I was already doing that. And she's like, oh yeah, you got to bond with it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense why I'm carrying this damn thing around everywhere. Lynette says, I love the readings. There's something for everyone in every reading. Yes, that's so true. That's why I like doing the free public readings, because spirit loves to piggyback. So yesterday in my private group, so all day yesterday, and honestly, the day before, I was getting this message over and over and over again. And I'm like, I don't know who this message is for. I knew it wasn't for me. And I just kept feeling called to post the message in my private group. And I said, it's for somebody in here. I don't know who it's for, but this is the message. It was very specific message. It wasn't like, it was general, but it was specific at the same time. Like there was specific things in the message. And so I posted it, and there was like 4 people who were like, that's for me. And so that's what happens. And every now and then back in the day, when I used to do readings all the time, you guys know that I'm not, in the beginning, I didn't really like doing straight up mediumship readings because I was still in the thick of my own grief. And so when spirit would come in, it would trigger those who were watching me's grief, which would trigger my grief. And it was a whole cycle. So anyway, I didn't do a lot of straight up mediumship readings, but when they did come in, when you do mediumship readings, a lot of times your loved ones will piggyback off of whoever's talking so that it reaches multiple people. It's amazing how many people have similar stories and can have similar connection points. It's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of us that are connected to Egypt. There's a lot of, and I feel like it's ancient Egypt. Like I feel like we're talking the OGs, I don't even know what you would call that. So what do you guys want to chat about today? Oh, we got a question. Let's see. Let me put my glasses on because I cannot see anything. Rebecca says, I'm noticing my cycle of losing myself once a new person comes into my life. I've noticed withdrawals from the things I love and my truth. I almost become a shell of myself. I love your wisdom on where I can heal so that I don't continue this cycle. Great question, Rebecca. One that I absolutely relate to, because that is something that I had experienced multiple times in all of my relationships, was that I would lose myself over time in those relationships. So I would get in when you're attracted to the person. So here, let's just start at the beginning. When you're attracted to somebody, the male testosterone, when he's attracted to you, triggers the female oxytocin, which is the in love chemical, right? In love chemical. I'm in love, that feeling of being in love. So the first few months of a relationship is like fireworks, right? He could look at you weird and be thinking about something else, but you think he's totally just staring at you. It's just like everything he does is magical. Everything you do is magical. So it's understanding that there is a chemical that gets triggered in our bodies. And this is why after like 3 or 4 months, sometimes sooner, you start to kind of feel like everything drops, right? You're no longer in love with them. They're not magical anymore. They're not romantic anymore. They don't do it for you in the same way anymore. You feel like they're doing something wrong or you're doing something wrong. And the truth is it's not that you're doing something wrong, but it can be fixed. So there's the first part. The second part is, oftentimes, especially empathic women, who I label the wounded healers when we're in this phase, we are still wounded. We are, we know what our pain feels like of being hurt, of being rejected, of being abandoned, of not being like poured over in love, right? We know what that feels like. So we try to do all the things for them to make them happy, to make sure that they know that we love them and appreciate them. We want them to love us, so we do all the things that they want to do. We literally become a chameleon, and we kind of morph into, what do you need me to be? How do you need me to talk to you? How do you need me to dress? How do you need me to behave? What do you need me to like? And we start to meld into basically what they want and lose ourselves. And this is why it is so important to have good boundaries. And if you guys have never heard me say this before, I'm going to be shocked, but most of you have. Boundaries are not a fence. Boundaries are your values, your virtues, your standards, what you like, what you don't like. It's very defined. That's why I say it's the Louisiana levees. Like, it's a very defined structure for energy to flow in. So when you lose yourself in a relationship, it's because you have stopped putting yourself first. It's because you have stopped using good boundaries and have decided to morph, be a chameleon into whatever that other person needs. And yeah, exactly. It's not even about romance either. You could do it with friends. I used to do it with friends. Depending on the group of friends I was in, I was a completely different person. And not that that's a bad thing. Like, I have multiple sides of me. We are multidimensional, right? So we different things can come out around different energies, and that's fine. But when you change and alter everything about yourself, or how everything changes or morphs around certain people, that's a trauma response. That's a way to survive. If you look at a chameleon, it changes its coloring to survive, to basically blend in. So the answer to your question is you need good boundaries. You need good boundaries. So if you go back on YouTube, there is a video called Seeing Clearly in 2020. I talk a lot about boundaries in that video. And I believe, Rebecca, you were in Becoming Your Best Self. So if you remember what you learned in that, There's a lot in there. If not, you guys can still get that whole course as a bonus by joining the Portal of Potential. So that's available in there as well. And I talk about boundaries in there. But it's literally, though, it's defining who you are. So here's an example of boundaries. I like chocolate ice cream. My spouse likes vanilla. I can't stand vanilla. He can't stand chocolate. We go to an ice cream shop. We only have enough money for one scoop of ice cream that we need to share. If I compromise and take something that I don't like for him, or he compromises and does something he doesn't like for me, that doesn't work. That is not a healthy compromise. Because remember, it needs to be for me, for you, for us. But if we both like strawberry ice cream, that is a healthy compromise because it works for me, it works for him. So that means it works for the whole. So it's about learning to say no. It's about learning to be okay with that you aren't going to please their every needs. It's about learning to know that who you are is acceptable and is lovable just as you are. That you don't have to, you don't need to hide. But it's also part of the self-love journey. Because if self-love is about learning to love the good, the funky, the indifferent, the weird, whatever you want to call it, what you perceive as bad about yourself, it's literally about loving all aspects of you where you are, your quirks. And it is, you guys, we are attracted, whether it's male or female, we are attracted to people's confidence. We are attracted to their energy. We are attracted to how they feel. And so for me, it was learning, one, how to continuously fill my oxytocin cup, which is so weird. I knew we were going to talk about this today. How to continuously fill up my own oxytocin cup, to always be in love with myself, and to find somebody who is always working on his own testosterone and being in love with himself. So that when we come together, it's mirrored, right? It's an expansion of energy. Because if one person is insecure and another one's secure, it's this back and forth. Is you're draining each other constantly. It's too much. And it kills relationships. Not only that, but sometimes when we are this way, we become the mother figure, right? So I'm really talking to the women here, but we become the mother figure and we start mothering our men. We start raising them and telling them what to do and correcting them and treating them like their children, which demasculates them, which drops their testosterone, which we're drained and our oxytocin drops, and it just becomes a cycle. So that's what I got for you. See if that take what you will and do something with it. Lee, I don't tell people generally where I am exactly. I don't feel comfortable with that, but I am in the Southern Outer Banks. I am on the Southern Outer Banks. You're so welcome. Good question, Rebecca. That was a good way to start this. Because there's a healing happens when we have a lot of trauma in our life in safe relationships. Whether that safe relationship is a mentorship. I know that I am in a high level mentorship. I'm no longer private mentored, but I'm still in the kind of the mastermind group of it. And I can tell you that I feel so safe in there. I can tell them anything, and they don't try to fix me or judge me. They're there to be like, congratulations, you hit rock bottom, right? They're there to just cheer me on wherever I am and let me know that it's safe for me to have that emotion, to have that feeling. And this is the exact reason why to this day, I still do and offer private mentorship, which is the long-term, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever. Because when you have that safe space, hey, Harmonia Tarot's on. Hi, Tanya. Oh, you guys, I'm missing my Tanya so much. She's visiting her family and we usually talk every day. And so I miss her. But I'm going to be seeing her soon. So I'm so excited because we're going to be going on a little road trip. So excited. Anyway, I got derailed. I got derailed. Where was I going? I don't remember what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Bring it back, guys. Bring it back for me. We got a lot of exciting energy today because when we're done with this, I'm doing a DNA activation and restructuring. And I'm super excited about that because I've been waiting for Spirit to be like, today's the day, and today is the day for her. And I know she's going to be excited. She don't even know yet. I haven't even told her. So I'm super, super excited. All this energy. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Corey. Squirrel. For real. Shannon says, that's what I feel right now. My boyfriend felt like my husband the second I started dating him. Now he feels like my son. We have split our time up more, but now I'm very emotional. So, Shannon, it's not too late, but the work has to be done on your side, love. And I know that sucks because trust me, I'm on my third divorce, so I know. But the work has to be done on your side. And had I know what I know now that I know then, things might be different. But then I think, no, they probably won't be different because I chose that I wanted somebody who was going to grow with me. And he wasn't really a growing kind of person. And that's his choice. There's nothing wrong with that. We're still friends. But what you have to do is stand in your power, my love. You have to stand in your power and you have to choose not to mother him. If you want to find his keys because you love him, not because you want to tell him you forgot your keys for the 10th time. Get it together. It's about you learning to fill up your own oxytocin cup. So let me give you guys one tip right now, maybe two, to fill up your own oxytocin cups. Besides the fact that there are plenty of foods that are rich in oxytocin. Okay. So you can Google it. What foods help with oxytocin? Eat those foods. Okay. But here's the thing. This is the thing that has really shifted things for me. So when I'm in bed in the morning, okay, before I get up, and sometimes at night too, when I'm going to bed, I touch myself. And what I mean by that is I caress my arms. I caress my arms. I act like I'm hugging myself. I rub my belly. I touch all the parts of me that used to make me feel insecure. I touch them and I caress them and I feel it. And I say them, I love on myself. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. I just connect with myself. Our hands and physical touch in relationships is the most intimate thing that we can do, right? We are magnetic beings. So when we connect, there's an exchange of energy. So this is about learning to give and receive to yourself. And there's a billion ways that I can teach you to do that. And I really dive into that more in private mentorship, right? Because it's very individualized. But just start there. The things that you want your significant other to do, man or woman, doesn't matter here. The things that you want your significant other to do for yourself. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I cannot say that enough because guess what? We have been programmed to treat people how we want to be treated. But what does that show people? When you're constantly giving to somebody else and putting yourself last, you are showing them that you come last because unconsciously, subconsciously, you guys, we are sentient beings. We learn through observing. So this is why in the very beginning of my career, I wrote an article that says, stop telling your kids no. They don't register that word. It doesn't register. They're so close to source still that they don't know the word no. Ask and it is given, right? So you have to say everything in an affirmative way. Shut the door softly. Stop slamming the door. All they hear is slam the door. So when you say, close the door softly, that's an affirmative. You're speaking in affirmation. You're speaking in affirmative. So we have to learn how to readjust our language and we have to fill our own cup first. And I know that sucks because I was like, no, I want him to know and do these things for me. I don't want to have to do them for myself. But when you start doing them for yourself, they watch you and they're like, oh, that's what she likes. That's what she likes. That's what he likes. And they start doing that for you. Do you see? So my love, you can fix this. But by you stepping back into your feminine and saying, I'm a queen goddess, and I'm going to treat myself the way that I deserve, and I'm going to love on myself, and I'm going to do all the things that I want and fill my own damn cup up, he will step into his masculine. He will step into his masculine. But we have to learn, male or female, have to learn how to give and receive to ourselves. It's so important. And I learned this lesson the really hard way. So take it, do what you, but I was the same way, man. My husband was like another child. He was like another child. We are not going to allow people to solicit on here. You guys, if somebody comments and is like, reach out to me for a ritual reading, don't do it. It's a scam. Lynette says, when you did my DNA restructuring, it was fantastic. You guys, oh my God. So the DNA restructuring sessions I have been doing lately are mind-blowing. I don't know if it's my capacity to hold more light or just the acceleration of my own evolution. I don't know what has happened, but the last few sessions that I have done, I have been so, because, you know, the energies, right? Your spirit team basically steps into me. It's called trance channeling, where they take over. And so I step out, and I'm always watching. I'm in observation, and then I come back in. I go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. The last two that I did, I was so far out. It took me forever to come back each and every time, because the energies that were coming through for people and the things that I was healing in their bodies and the things that I was telling them were off the charts. So it's not just your run-of-the-mill DNA activation. This is, I've healed things in people's body that have been chronic pain that they've never been able to figure out, that I didn't even know they had before I did the session, because I don't really get into that kind of detail with people. Some of them I barely know. Messages from loved ones and guides, activating their gifts, meaning I shine the light on what their gifts are and where they live in their body and how to utilize them. Past life traumas sometimes come up. Like, every single person is different. And but see, I do mine differently. And I have videos. I don't want to go too far into this, but I have tons of videos on the DNA work on my YouTube. So you guys want to know more about what happens in a DNA session, you can check that out. But I like doing them because I never know what's going to happen. I never know what's going to happen or what's going to come through. And I see the most amazing things, amazing things. Good question, Tanya. I only go up to 24. I can go higher, but I have not felt the call to, because most of the people who are coming to me should not be going over 24 anyway. Once you get past, so the first 12 strands everybody should have their first 12 strands activated. We were never meant to not have our strands suppressed the way that they have been. And that's a whole video, a galactic history story. Once you go to strand 13 and above, this is for the people who want to be spiritually active. They want to do grid working. They want to work the ley lines. They want to they want to work with spirit. You have to be ready for that. You have to be ready for what comes for that. And then once you get past 24, I'm just going to be honest. Here's what happened to me. So not only did it open me up, but to the next level. But your capacity to hold dense things changes. So I could no longer eat meat. Every now and then I'll eat chicken, but it's very rare. I could no longer have harsh chemicals. I could none of those things. I became ultra sensitive to man-made bullshit. And while it's better, right? It's better for me. There are things that happen that there's no going back. There's no going back. And honestly, when you're ready after you hit 24, you will naturally begin. Your DNA, once you hit past 24, your DNA will naturally begin to activate itself again higher as it needs to. It's really busting through, though, those first initial 2 caps. So a lot of the people that come to me for DNA activation and restructuring are still very new on their journey, and I just haven't felt called to go higher than that. Yeah, Salim, I was just thinking about you today. Salim's one of the ones who's on my spirit calendar for DNA. I did her first initial 12 strands, and we're just waiting for spirit to tell me when it's time to do her next one. And these unfold over 6 months. See, when I had mine originally done, I talked about this on another video, but when I had mine originally done before I was certified in it, the person who did mine did not understand her gift and did not understand her power and her capacity. And she did all 24 strands over a 24-hour period. And I went into a healing crisis. Everything busted open. She didn't understand. So I'm very intentional about how I do my work. I want to make sure that nobody goes into a healing crisis. So this is designed to unfold. It's designed to activate when it's in the highest alignment for you. So there's always initial shifts and a euphoria and insights and all of that. But then you go through your processes. That was one of the worst things I ever experienced. And I never want to do that for someone else. Oh, thank you for loving my hair. This could not have come in a better time. I keep giving up. People don't take me seriously anymore. My 51st birthday is coming up and I feel more broken. Aw. I can't see the rest of that if there's more. Let me see. Are you taking yourself seriously? Do you take yourself seriously, love? And remember, we are never broken. I know we can feel broken. I know there's times when I feel broken, but we are not broken. That piece that feels missing is something that you are holding away. You are resisting something. And in that resistance, you are using your energy to push it out and hold it back. So when we're in resistance to anything, we're in resistance to everything. Resistance doesn't only work on the negative things, you guys. So when you're resistant to feeling something, right, then you are in resistance, period. So great example that I shared yesterday, because after my live on my Facebook, I went live for 2 hours on TikTok. And I used this example. And the example was, I had removed a couple of videos off of TikTok because I had gotten so much hate. A lot of what I talk about is controversial. It's people don't believe it because I'm threatening their belief systems, right? I'm sharing something that has been given to me spiritually and doesn't really have any sometimes factual backing because science is only bringing the unknown to the known. And we all know how well science works sometimes. So anyway, I was at a place of doing deep healing work and I was getting hit constantly by negative, comments. And it was too much. And so I just deleted the videos. And I had a realization that I was in resistance. I didn't want to feel the negative. And I was like, oh, okay. So I put the videos back up and I said, I'm okay if somebody's negative, because Spirit said to me, this is about non-judgment. It's acceptance, not agreement. Accept where they are, accept what they believe, accept that they're in fear, accept that that's where they are in their journey, accept that that's okay for them to be there. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them. It doesn't mean that you're wrong and they're right, or they're wrong, or, they're right and you're wrong. That's not a thing. And even though they've told me that a million times, and I've told you guys a million times, we're human. And so we have to hear it again. And so they said, when you stop judging somebody, nobody's going to judge you. When you stop judging yourself, no one's going to judge you. So if they come, let them come. Don't be in resistance to it. And just say in those moments when you read that comment, just say, I can accept where they are, but I don't choose that for me. I don't choose that for me. And so when I know it's kind of an off example, but the point is it's about accepting what is right now, what you're feeling right now. You don't have to like it. I don't ever like it when I am in the dumps, when I'm at the bottom of my well, digging up the sludge. Nobody likes it. It's about accepting it. That's it. It's all you got to do. Acceptance heals, man. It just does. The more you show love to people, the less seriously they take you. Well, then they're not your people. They're not your people. And stop judging yourself for loving people too much and just give that damn love back to yourself. Love yourself more than you love other people right now. Maybe that's what you need to do. Yeah. See, and at the time, Tanya, I was recommending, because I hadn't been certified yet, I was recommending everybody to Kendra. Kendra didn't do mine, by the way. Someone else did. And I love Kendra to pieces, but I've had people come back to me and say, can you go back into my DNA? And I have, and made small adjustments, but you know, I had no idea what my capacity was going to be in doing that. I wanted to get certified because I wanted to go in and work on my own DNA. Honestly, that's why I got certified. I said, whatever this chick did, I want to be able to go back in and see what she did. I felt like she had done something wonky. And Samantha was like, okay, so I got certified and I started working on my own, and I did my daughter's DNA, and I started just practicing, and all of a sudden it just went next level. So honestly, what I do in my DNA restructurings looks nothing like the certification that you're taught. It has morphed into its own thing. So I just recently changed my rates on them because it's not even the same. It's not even the same service anymore. It's just ridiculous. Tiffany says, I'm struggling with procrastination, addiction, and trauma. Could this DNA activation help me? I'm also really into gene keys and do gene keys part of my Oh, awesome. So I use gene keys in human design in almost all of my work. I don't really advertise it because it's it's just a tool that I bring in. So when you understand the gene keys, you understand that the gene keys are codes in your DNA. They're DNA codes. They're key codes in your DNA. And that's why when we look at your gene keys, when we look at your golden path, so I do what's called divine design readings. So if you guys were to go look at my single sessions, it just has a single rate that you would just have to specify, I want a divine design reading. But I've had people requesting this lately, so I just wanted to make that clear. If you book a reading, if you don't put divine design, you will not get one when we get on that call, because there's about 2 hours of channeling that happens beforehand. When I do the DNA work, I'm not thinking about gene keys and all of that. I'm just working in the codes, in the codes. I'm working in your DNA. I call the DNA strand forward. I open it up. Whatever beings are called to come forward. They restructure it. They do whatever. Some DNA strands are just restored. There's major key codes or activations that are brought in. Every single thing is different. Can I tell you that it's going to heal your procrastination, your addiction, and your trauma? No, I can't make that guarantee. What I can tell you is that whatever is ready, when I go in to do this work, whatever is ready to be transmuted, to be alchemized, will be. And a lot of times, because remember, our physical body is our well of all knowing. It has all the dry ingredients of all time and space. So of every life you've ever lived. So anything you ever need is actually in your body. It's compressed, but oftentimes some of this stuff comes up, especially right now. So many people right now had lives in Atlantis. And what we are experiencing collectively is very similar to the fall of Atlantis. And so there's a lot of people who are having these past life stuff get triggered, right? But there's other times when there's things that are in your body that are running subconscious programs that don't need to be there. It's not something that needs to come up to be triggered in the now moment to be worked through, that I can clear. And I do that. I also clear vows, oaths, contracts. You'd be surprised at how many contracts people have made to make deals in other lifetimes, and those contracts are still on them. They're oaths. Sometimes people make, in other lives, they make crazy oaths that they're never going to do this, or that they want to experience this, when what that's done is limit them, and that oath has stayed on them, so I can remove those. So I can't guarantee it's going to do that, but what it does is I do clear a lot. And I also bringing more light in and upgrading and awakening what's been dormant and sealed off. And what that does is it gives you access to more information, more light, more sovereignty in your body, which is going to give you more courage to face your trauma, because procrastination is a trauma response. Procrastination is a trauma response. Addiction is a trauma response. We get addicted to things because it takes our mind away from feeling. Procrastination is the fear of stepping into something because we're uncertain of how it's going to play out. We're uncertain if it's going to be great, if it's going to be draining. If sometimes it's the fear of the power that we're going to step into. For me, I procrastinated doing things because I was afraid of my own power. I had a fear of success. So it's a matter of finding your trauma. But what I would tell you is something that's been happening lately is people have been pairing their DNA activation with private mentorship, because then they can work through what has been set free that is now going to, because that's what's going to happen is I'm going to dig up, I'm going to set everything free. And it's going to slowly start coming up, and you're going to have to face those lifetimes, those energies, whatever it is in this now moment. So it's something you have to be ready for. It doesn't mean it's going to be a disaster. That's not what we want. But I've tried to participate in all your events and support you the best I can, but I don't have Facebook. Do you have any other ways besides social platforms to support you? Well, I have the Portal of Potential. It's a membership that's not on Facebook. It's on a website. It's a membership website. I'm on YouTube right here. If you're not on Facebook, you're probably not on Instagram. I'm not super active on Instagram, but I am. I do a lot in the stories. You can sign up for my email list, and I am looking for another platform. I don't know if I'm going to do the chat one, the Telegram. I'm thinking about maybe doing Telegram. I haven't figured it out, but I don't feel like Facebook's going to be around a whole lot longer. I feel like that's going to be going away. But thanks for asking that question. Anne says, wow, sounds very interesting, the DNA upgrade. Now I have the feeling that I have to sell my house and leave my job. That is draining me. I don't know. I don't know what comes after this. It's a big jump. Okay, so let me just clarify. You have a feeling, Anne, that you need to sell your house and leave your job, and the thought of that is draining you? Can you confirm that that's what you're saying? What do you mean your first gene key is 24th? Are you talking about your life's work? The addiction part is not, the addiction part is the shadow frequency. there's still a very high octave. Remember, frequency, there's no separation in light or dark. It's just two ends of the same spectrum. That's it. So you can only go as high as you're willing to go low, right? And it's not that it means you have to go low. You just can't be in resistance to going low. Gene keys is a modality. So there's a man named Ra who developed a very scientific modality called human design. It's advanced astrology. And Richard Rudd was working with Ra, and Richard Rudd started channeling the gates or the key codes, the DNA markers, and communicating with them. And he created what's called the gene keys. So human design is more scientific. It's more logical based. It's more, astrology, pseudoscience, where gene keys is more spiritual. It's more channeled. And I like the two together because obviously they balance each other. So gene keys shows what we call your golden path. And this is your blueprint. And human design has a similar blueprint as well. But human design, I can, it's more reading. It's like for people who aren't real woo-woo, because there's a reason why people call me the woo-woo queen, right? I can go pretty woo. People who aren't really ready for that, if I show them something scientific that is advanced astrology, they're more open to that. It's a bridge. So either one is a blueprint, but it's our divine blueprint. It shows us what our life's purpose is, which is always what you're here to learn, and your life's mission, which is what you're here to do to be of service. And that can be expressed in multiple ways. It can show you how to open your heart. It can show you what you're attracting. It has different things of what it's, because before we incarnate and decide to play this game again, we decide what we're wanting to learn. What do I want to learn this trip? What do I want to master this trip? How do I want to help humanity this trip? And I'm going to work with you, and I'm going to work with you. Like Tanya and I have worked together in many, many lives. So it's like we make these deals and we say, this is going to be a limitation I'm going to set for myself. This is a potential I'm going to set for myself. And it really just, it's a navigation tool, right? And it's not the end all be all, right? We are never victims of our design. But I'll tell you, for mine, when I found this, I was like, holy shit, I'm not crazy. Somebody knows me. Like, this is me. And I thought I was nuts. I'm missing a bunch of comments, but I'm trying to find that one. On an energetic level, I had two. So let me get back to your job is exhausting, and both energetic level, 2 times burnout at my job. I was asking if it's the thought of leaving your job and the thought of having to leave your house that's exhausting. So usually exhaustion comes from inner conflict. Inner conflict is, there's a part of me that's wanting me to do this, to leave my job, to leave my house, to leave my spouse, to take some crazy risk. And there's a part of me that's like, don't do that. Right? So part of you is the higher self guidance that is guiding you to take leaps. And it feels enticing. It feels like it's powerful, but it's scary as shit. And the other side is your fear personalities, part of your ego, right? Your ego has protector personalities and fear personalities underneath that. And those, they go digging through the algorithm of your past to pull up information to prove to you that what you're about to do is going to be the wrong decision. Because in past experiences, you have taken these types of the energy is the same, right? You've made similar types of decisions and something wrong had happened. And so these protector personalities go digging through the algorithm of your past to bring up the proof. And so there becomes this inner conflict. Stay, go, do this, and don't do that. And we struggle. So part of trusting yourself is going, breathe, 1, 2, which one do I feel like, if I had the courage, if I had the money, if I wasn't afraid, which one would I do? And that's the one you got to choose. But you got to get to that point where you're ready. So a lot of times exhaustion comes from inner conflict. And also having poor boundaries. Poor boundaries is a huge thing. You don't have good boundaries, you can get drained very easily. For those of you on TikTok, you can go to YouTube, or you can put questions below. I'll go back and forth. Okay, there was somebody's question in here that I wanted to come back to. Let me see if I can find it. Regarding the planetary shifts, the general message that keeps coming up is that the collective is getting their just desserts. What is it? What, LMK? Will you correct that? I'm not sure what you're trying to say. What is the collective getting? And for those of you that are new to Gene Keys and Human Design, that are curious, if you go to my YouTube channel, you go to my main page, where you can see, if you click on my page, you'll see like everything. There's a bunch of playlists that I have pre-organized. One of them is free trainings, and there are several free, there's I think at least 2 free trainings that Ashley Pfeffer and I have done on human design and Gene Keys. So just it's like introduction, basics. I think most of them are, I think, on human design, but there might be a few. Bye, Tanya. Love you. Have a good day. So if you guys are interested in that, start there. And then if you want a divine design reading, you can always go to my private session or single sessions. I even have a course that will walk you through it all too. So there's lots of free resources and paid resources available. I'm glad you like spiritual stuff, and thanks for hopping into my channel. Bye, Lynette. Have a great day. If your house doesn't feel like home anymore, that's a call for you to find home within you. Home is not externally, home's internally. Okay, 24 is your life's work. Just didn't remember off the top of my head. So the highest frequency of 24 is silence, and the gift frequency, which is the balance point between the 2 fields, is invention. So again, this is about, addiction is always about you taking your pain and turning it into purpose. So if that's your life's work, then whatever your mission is or whatever your purpose is you're meant to bring that out into your life's work. Is about how you're meant to bring your mission out into the world. That's what your life's work's about. It doesn't mean that you are destined to be an addict, but addiction is being stuck in the cycle of pain. Addiction is being hooked into the feeling of pain. It gives you something. So you're in the cycle of pain and reward, pain and reward, pain and reward, when in reality, you're meant to take your pain and turn it into purpose. That's what I do here every day. I have been abused in every which way you can be abused. I've been neglected. I've been abandoned. I've been divorced 3 times. I have been broke and had nothing, and I've had tons of money. I've been all over the map. I've experienced more trauma than most people in the first 10 years of her life. And I have taken all of that and I have made it into something beautiful. That is the cycle you got to break. I don't know about the collective being rewarded or karmic facing their karma, McKay, but what I'll tell you is we are being given opportunities constantly to choose. And I know this is going to sound cliche, but it's the truth. Love over fear. And what do I mean by that? There's lots of distractions out there, and they're going to continue to happen. In fact, those distractions are about to get pretty freaking loud. From alien invasions to food shortages, you name it, they're going to try to put it out there. They want to get you to buy into the FOMO. And the reason why they want you to buy into the FOMO is because if you choose fear, your vibration is lowered. Now you're going to be looking at the government, mother, may I, or whatever, however it's working, right? Mother, may I, can I have this? You are giving your power away to something or someone. But when they come out with these stories of shortages, and you look at that and you say, you know what? I have what I need in my home right now. I'm not going to overbuy. I'm not going to panic buy. I'm not going to buy into their bullshit story. You are choosing to trust yourself instead. You are choosing that you don't need to buy into the fear, that you will be okay. And remember, you are a co-creator of your reality. So what you believe will be. So it's really about you learning to trust and discern. This is a tactic. And the reason why the distractions are getting really loud, and they're going to continue to get loud, is because they don't want the truth to be seen. So the truth is out there, right? There's a lot of truth that's out there, but it's being censored. That's why I use DuckDuckGo as my browser now. It's why I have to be careful what I say on YouTube and Facebook. When I did my disclosure video, I didn't put ads on it because I knew if I put ads on it, it would be reviewed and then I'd get flagged. So it's an opportunity. So when we look at the collective field, we will accelerate the more people choose love, the more people choose to say, I don't believe you. You are not doing this to benefit me. Follow the money. So who benefits off vaccines? The pharmaceutical companies, right? The government, private sector, they get to put restrictions and blah, blah, blah. Who benefits off of these things? Who's getting paid? And all the doctors and all the nurses and all the scientists who have come forward and spoken their truth about why you should not are being suppressed. They're being censored. Why? Why are they censoring? They don't want the truth. They want to control you because they know they're losing control. So that's what we're being given an opportunity right now collectively, is to choose ourselves, to choose to lead ourselves, to choose to trust ourselves, to trust to say, you can take away all of the things. And if you guys haven't watched my disclosure video, go watch it, because you'll understand a whole lot more about technology and the truth about the technology that's always been there, that they can't come out and say, oh, we've had this technology to heal you instantly for 100 years, but we couldn't tell you that because we wanted to keep you sick by poisoning your food and by doing blah, 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 so that we could make money. Free energy. With free energy, a lot of people lose money, right? So it's been a material game, but we're moving away. We're moving away from that. So we're going to watch that deconstruct, so that in the pressurizing of not being able to do what we want, people will feel so moved to find that potential within that limit and bust out and go create something new. And that's how the new earth is built. Totally agree with the pharmaceutical companies want to control everything. Yeah, it's so. I just did a video on TikTok. I did a video on the fact that the sun doesn't burn you. Think about it. Really think about it. Now, if you were to sit in the sun all day long, and you can have too much of anything, right? But the more chemicals you eat and the more chemicals you ingest from chemical products you put on your body, the more chemicals are in your bloodstream. And when your body is heated up, the chemicals are now surface sitting at your skin. The chemicals that are in your blood, the toxins, are sitting at your skin. And there's something hot beating on your skin. So it's going to create a different type of burn. It's going to cause blisters. It's going to cause all these things. Well, I got a lot of crap for that video. I was like, whatever, that's where people are, right? We have been trained to believe that the sun burns us. So if you believe it will be. What you believe will be. So it's a lot of reprogramming that has to happen too. Well, then yesterday, this woman posted a video about the sunblock she was using and how it burned her husband worse than if he had not used sunblock at all. And we ended up finding out that even the CDC has said that these types of sunblocks cause cancer and are toxic. And so I was sharing with people the all natural sunblock that I use. It's in my Amazon store in my bio, in my bio link. And because it's a mineral, it's an organic mineral sunscreen. So this morning, so we got that, right? So I shared that yesterday and people are like shocked. And honestly, it's all chemicals. It's not just the sunscreens, but it's your makeup, it's your dish soap, it's all the things. And this can be very overwhelming. So if you're hearing about this for the first time, don't go freak out. Just take a breath. So this morning I'm making my mud water and I'm talking to my guides. And they said, do you know how you sweat? And I said, yeah. Now, if you have a mineral deficiency, when you sweat, there's no minerals pouring out in your sweat to protect your skin. But if you are proficient in minerals, meaning you don't have a mineral deficiency, when you sweat, those natural minerals coat your skin and are a natural sun protectant. And I went, because part of me healing my adrenal fatigue, my hypothyroidism, right, my gut imbalances was because I had a mineral deficiency. And that's why I started with the Salt Soleil. The Salt Soleil was a starting point of repairing my mineral deficiency. And if you're just hearing about this for the first time, again, link in bio, there's a whole article on Salt Soleil. But think about that. If we are proficient in minerals and we go outside and we sweat, and by the way, if you're not sweating, you're toxic. Your body, that's your body's natural way of detoxing. When you sweat, those minerals coat your skin and it becomes a natural sunblock. I was just like, holy shit, next level. And that's truth does set us free. But you know what? Ignorance is bliss. It's actually not bliss, it's avoidance. But when you are still asleep, this kind of information can really be shocking to your system. Because if you're not ready to hear that and you find out that the world's been lying to you, the government, the doctors, that's the thing. People are like, my doctor, my dermatologist. And it's like, you know what? I finally found a doctor who isn't woo-woo, but she's very intuitive and she trusts my connection to my own body and my guides. And she said to me, we only know what we've been taught. And we've been taught that this book and this information is all there is and that we have to stick to that. And that's just the truth. And I think me being her patient has kind of broken her free of that because now she started just being more intuitive, and her being more intuitive, it caught precancer cells in my esophagus. And I literally brought her a plant and wrote her this beautiful letter because I was so grateful to her. And I knew the minute that I heard that those were from anger issues that I was working through. I had a lot of anger in my solar plexus, and anger is very acidic, and anger, any disharmony in your body is where disease comes from. And so your body's always trying to rebalance itself. New York is offering a chance to win $5 million if you get the shot. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. Exactly. Honestly, you should not have to bribe people to protect themselves. That's just insane. But you know what? If people feel called to get it, whatever happens to them, that's their divine choice. And we have to remember that, you guys. There are some people who chose to come experience the dark, who chose to explore that role. And if you don't believe you've ever had a dark life or you've been the perpetrator in a life, you are not fully awakened. Because there's a lot of woke things right now, and it's cool to be woke. But do you know what an awakening is? Being awake means you are fully aware of all aspects of yourself and your bullshit. You're good, you're bad, you're indifferent. You're aware. And that means that I had to go into my dark. I had to see that I have been the perpetrator, that I've been an electrocutioner in other lives, that I have been the trafficker, that I have been the bad person. We choose to come explore frequency. Pleiadians are always talking to me about how we're here to explore frequency. So there are times where you're going to choose to come to this playground and say, I'm going to go explore what it's like to be on this side of the spectrum. It all has a purpose. And we forget that. And until we move from a dualistic plane into a unified plane, we will always have that. And we are moving towards unity. But remember, unity is acceptance, not agreement. If the V is so great, why are we having to wear masks in the healthcare system? Right, exactly. And you guys, I have heard from so many doctors and who have been told that they will be blacklisted if they come out and share what they know as truth. And it's sad. It's sad. People are being blackmailed. They're being blackmailed. It's an interesting time in the world. But don't buy into the fear or try to fight against it. You can speak your truth, but what I'm being guided to tell people over and over again is we are here to be the change. Remember, we are sentient beings. So all this time we've been required to wear masks. I haven't worn one. Unless somebody asked me to, and I really wanted to go into that place and I couldn't, unless I had it on, they actually would not let me walk in the door, even though that in itself is borderline unconstitutional, but it is a private business. So there has been occasions where I have put it on, but 98% of the time, I don't even think about it. I don't ever put it on. And when people ask, I say I'm exempt because I am. I have PTSD. So I'm exempt. And I don't have to tell them that because it's a HIPAA violation to ask me. So I just say I'm exempt. And most people, because of my energy is I don't give an F. I'm sovereign. I don't think about or worry about, are they going to kick me out? Are they going to say anything to me? It never even crosses my mind. So you attract what you are feeling internally. So if you're judging yourself for wearing it or not wearing it, if you're worried, that's what you're going to attract. So you have to be very solid. That's boundaries. Very solid in your beliefs. When you are solid in your beliefs, nobody can shake them. So no one's going to convince me that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And the fact that they're not publicly telling you that there's nanotechnology in there, which is tracking you. And by the way, there's nanotechnology that's falling from the sky in chemtrails, right? There's all these other things. So they're doing everything that they can to lower our vibration or lower our frequency. It's actually your frequency, not your vibration. Your vibration is the frequency being sent out. So they lower your frequency and they're trying to keep us asleep. This is what they're doing. All right, let's talk about something else because I don't like talking about this stuff. New to this channel, I just saw the notification, so decided to join. Yay, welcome. Way to clear your energy field. So remember, so there's a couple of things. One, you want to use your breath. You want to be out in nature. You want to call on the frequencies of gold or white. You can even call on the violet ray and just visually run it through your system. You want to start your day with intention, right? Set that boundary of affirmative, not I don't want to feel this. That's resistance. Resistance works the same way in law of attraction. What you resist will persist. So at the end of the day, it's being the change, embodying the frequency. Because I am you, you are me. And this is why I don't believe in energy protection. Because if you want to protect your energy, that means you are in resistance to feeling something, which means that you're in resistance. So you're going to feel the very thing you don't want to feel because you're resistant to feeling it. When you realize I am you, you are me, you realize whatever person is coming to you, or whatever situation is coming to you, is mirroring something back to you that you are not either looking at, wanting to see, or even knowing at that time. So if someone's treating you poorly, are you treating yourself poorly? If someone's crossing your boundaries, are you not holding that boundary? Are you allowing them to cross that boundary? If you're being attacked, are you attacking yourself? If you're being judged, are you judging yourself? So it's about looking at the reflection and then adjusting your own frequency and watching that naturally take care of itself. But if you find that you had poor boundaries and now you're overrun with energies, it's discernment. Is this even my energy? It's running frequencies through. It's choosing another frequency. That's it. It's very simple. We overcomplicate stuff. Guidance isn't always going to tell you, Anne, what's coming next. Because remember, every decision, every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take is going to create the next moment and the next timeline. And it's going to open up that potential because we're always running multiple timelines. So when we go through what's called timeline collapses, it's because we have made decisions. We have said, I decide with all of my energy, this is for me. And so now all of these timelines can collapse because they're no longer potentials. So when you decide, your timelines will become more definitive. So that's why they're not telling you, because there's too many potentials. And remember, we're always seeing everything through the lens of an inner child. And when we see everything through an inner child, no more than 2 choices. If you ask a 5-year-old, you give them 5 options, they're going to feel overwhelmed and confused, and it's going to be too much for them. But if you give them 2 choices, this fork or this fork, they feel empowered. So it could be literally this plate and this plate, this fork, this fork. The fact that they get to choose empowers them. But when they're overwhelmed, that's disempowering. So you need to make a decision, and then those timelines will open up. Okay. Let's see. How long have I been on? Because I need to do my DNA work. All right. We've been on for about an hour, a little over an hour. Perfect. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who donated, thank you so much. I appreciate you. For those of you who want to get access, I didn't even guys tell you this. So tomorrow on the eclipse blood moon, I'm just so excited about this energy because of all the good things that are going to come from it. In the portal of potential, I am taking the members on a journey using my purification process modality. So we're going to be locating these blocks and stuck energy in your body, and we're going to be transmuting them so that you can receive the clarity from that density that's stuck in your body. So you can understand the root of it. And once you understand the root of it, you can make new decisions and new behaviors and operate differently. So this is something that my guides took me through using my own modality. And I, on a pattern I recently was at the bottom of, I was at that crossroads again, and it was amazing. And I really felt guided to take you guys through that. So if that's something that you feel called to, awesome. You can click the link for the portal of potential. It's in the description of whatever platform you're watching me on, or it's a link in the bio. And you can hop in and join us. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be live tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make it live, you'll get access to the replay. I am super excited. It's been a while since I've done a journey. And they're super potent. Oh, they're so super potent. So I have no idea how this one's going to, I just know what we're doing. I don't know how we're doing it. I just let that be channeled through. So I'm super excited about that. So that's going to be tomorrow. Remember, if you're one of the first 30 people, I think we have a little bit of space left. You get the bonus course of becoming your best self. And then there's a bonus course in there, Awaken the Magic. And that is, Awaken the Magic is the basics of what is your primary spiritual gift, your clair, some basic understandings of the chakras, just basic information for those who want a refresher or who are new. So it's really, really cool. So anyway, if you guys feel called to that, awesome. If not, I will be back. I'm going to do this more. So if you like it, show me some love, share it, get it out there, and come with good questions. You guys had great questions today. So I'm going to head out and do a DNA activation and restructuring, but I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Until next time.